Welcome back to a brand new coffee tech break with Jan. Good to see you back on my channel again. I think I got another great video for you lined up because I want to take you through a brand new version of the Teams application specifically for Android. So that means for the Studio X and the G7500. And I will show you step by step, besides taking some coffee together, how you can update through Teams Admin Center. And on the other hand, I will show you the end user experience. So what are the new features that are introduced? Now, important to know it, besides new features, there's also maintenance and hotfixes. So always recommend to keep your Teams application up to date. Not only on Studio X, but also on the TC8. But I will show you that in Teams Admin Center. Now, if you got any questions or comments, just always leave them under the video. Try to answer them as good as possible. Let me jump in my computer now and show you where you can find those latest Teams applications and how you can push them out. Alright, welcome into my demo room. So as you can see, there's a brand new version, and I usually pick out the last four digits at 2301, which introduced quite some new features. There's also some fixes with an earlier release where there are some pairing issues. So this is all consolidated in those latest releases. So this is why make sure you keep your device up to date. Now there's also some Pro licenses needed, so keep that in mind. When it says Pro behind the feature, you need to have a Pro license. If it doesn't contain anything, it's gonna be part of the Basic and the Pro. Welcome in Teams Admin Center. This is part of all the administration tools in Office 365, and here you can manage all your Teams devices, which are part of your tenant. So you can find MTR on Windows, find your Teams Room Android, Teams panels, phones, Service Hub, etc. It's all manageable from Teams Admin Center. Now, to show you the Androids, you go to Teams Room on Android. Here you got a global overview and also a device summary, device health, and don't forget the message about the licensing. But this is extended. So you see from the 1st of July, we have the message that user account won't work anymore. Well, Microsoft extended that for 90 days. So you still got through September to make your change from user license to the Basic or the Pro licensing. Now, all the way below, you can find your Teams devices. So here you see them all registered. So display name, the Teams room accounts that are used. You can find the device names, the licensing attached to those devices, the health status. So here you can find if there are any updates, automatic updates. These are general usually, but I will show you what general means. Then we got manufacturing poly. You can filter on all those things. So through the Intune policies, you will be able to filter on all those different types if you want to do that before registration. And you can find the IP addresses, etc. So there's a lot of information. These are all, and these are the Studio X device itself, these are all under Teams Room on Android. The other tab, this is really important because I still see a lot of customers who only update the bar, but you need to also update the touch panel, the table. So under touch consoles, you can find the TC8, the TC10, etc. And here you can update them also to that latest version. And so keep that in mind when working in Teams Admin Center. Now, if you want to update, you can go here, for example, under health status, you can go and click here under non-urgent. So if I click on that, it will open up next screen. Here you will find the different health status and it will mention there is a Teams app update. So if I click on that, you get into the next screen. It will give you a status about automatic updates, and here you will find that the general means the fair to 30 days. So you have some time before rolling those updates out. Usually for my demos, just force them as a manual update, but if you are in a production environment, you probably want to defer that or do a sort of controlled rollout. So you gotta make sure that when you push it out that everything is working properly. So you first want to test it in some rooms. So that is an option. General is the default. Then we got validation. That means it's like an urgent fix. Then you probably want to roll it out as soon as possible. And we got a final, which is a defer update to 90 days. Why 90 days? Yeah, after 90 days, there's probably already a newer one available. Now that is in general for automatic updates. You see the current version running on my device, the 4.02. Now, what you need to do is if you want to force it, you need to go to manual updates. This will force it right now. So you just tick here the Teams app update and you see we're going here from the 0802 to that 2301. And that's the only thing you need to do. You click on update and then you're able to update it right now. If you want to schedule it, you just enable this guy and then you can schedule the update. But yeah, make sure that you are available when running those updates. So in case anything goes wrong, you can always jump in to make sure it's working again. So this is the update, menu update, which can be done for Studio X. Under touch consoles, don't forget that is also important. This is the application specifically on the touch panel. So we're going here to non-urgent updates, we're going to update Teams app, we go to manual updates, and here you can do the same thing, upgrade from current version to that 2301. So make sure that your Studio X and TC8 are at the same version. Now let's start the upgrade process and fast forward to the end user experience. So you pushed it out to Studio X and TC8 and let me show you what new features there are available in this new version. Welcome into my Studio X demo room. So here I've installed the latest Teams application and the 2301, the end of June release here on my X50. So I can walk you through the latest and greatest features which are available there. Now I'm showing you on the left side TV UI. So as you know, one of the new features is now to enable not only TC8 for control, but also if you got a touch screen connected there, you can also do the control there. So I'm showing that right here. Now, besides the current features, which I also will walk through quickly, I will show you also the new features. But I will walk them all through here during my session. So first off, we got a new button here on the TV UI. If you got a touchscreen connected there, which is Meet. Meet means you can ad hoc start a meeting. So you can just click on this. This will initiate a meeting and then you're able to add participant. So in the past, you had to schedule a meeting before you're able to join it. So now, and this was a similar feature we had on Windows, so now we can do the same thing on Android. We just kick off an ad hoc meeting, we get here all the details, we can add participants, etc. I think a really great one, and also is in line now with the features we have on MTR on Windows. So this was already available, but just good to call out. Then we got Whiteboard. So this is also functionality where you can now walk into the room and initiate a whiteboard session. That is when Studio X or G7500 is also connected to a touchscreen. You will have also this feature available. In the past, you could only initiate this from the Teams PC side, and now you got this also available on the Studio X in combination with the touchscreen, initiated from the device itself. Now the next one is Share. Share means show what's coming through the HDMI ingest. This can be done automatically or can be done manually by pressing the share button, and I will show you that later on through the configuration settings, how you can tweak that. The next one I think is also interesting one, which was already available, is to join with a meeting ID. So let's say you just walk ad hoc into a meeting and you just want to join a meeting. You got all the details on your phone or on your PC and you just wanted to be able to jump in manually. That is also a possibility now. And I'm showing this on the TV UI, but again, this is also available, of course, on the TC8 on the touch panel. Now we need to dive a little bit deeper. So we go here under the three dots. We have settings, which we'll jump into a bit. And we got the volume control, which you're able to set right here. Now, If we then click on the settings, we have report an issue. So if you run into something, you're able to negotiate that with the support. Then we got about. So under about, I think what is interesting, you can not only find the build that we are running, but also you can find out the license details. So in case you got some issues or something is not working properly, you can always quickly check out the license details here also from the room. Now we need to jump deeper. We go to device settings. Here we can do debugging if needed. We can jump to accessibility settings. If you want to have bigger letters and everything, you can change that there. We got here the about. Now let's jump in the admin settings, but here of course you need to log in. All right, let's jump in here. Now first off, at the top we got to change password. Speaks for itself. Debugging here, network settings, and just to show quickly, you can enable Wi-Fi here and directly from the Teams app. So if you got your Studio X or G7500, you got it like on a mobile card or with a touchscreen, just very straightforward. You just got one power cable and you just want to be flexible with that thing. You can also use it on Wi-Fi, and it's either Wi-Fi or on the network, and not both at the same time. So just want to call out them because I think this is also a great feature. Here you can set the language, the date and time. Date and time is super important if you want to authenticate correctly in Teams and with your Teams room account. Make sure that your NTP, the time and date, everything is correctly. Bluetooth, that is more for the proximity stuff, which I'll also show you in a bit. You can turn that all off. Here we got the Teams admin settings, specifically app applications, which I will show you. And here you can sign out the admin and the user. Now let me jump to the Teams admin center. So these are specifically for this application. And most of those things were already there. And so here you got calling settings. You can forward call or delegate calls, maybe for executive rooms or something. Now under general, it starts to become interesting. Now one of the features which was already there is that enable those touchscreen controls. So if you haven't seen it, you can enable it. You can even attach your mouse, of course, to Studio X or G7500, and you're able to work through that on your TV screen. If you got a touchscreen, great. You're also able to use that in combination again with the TC8 at the table. Then we got wallpapers. So wallpapers gives you the possibility to change to different fixed wallpapers. There is no custom wallpapers yet. That's probably on the to-do list for the upcoming versions. What is also interesting is the HDMI content sharing. So you can include audio now. So if you got your laptop connected with audio, you're able to share that. And you can also turn on and off automatic sharing. So as soon as you connect that HDMI cable, your PC, your laptop will share. And that was enabled in the past. But now you can disable that. And that means you can share, but you need to press that button on the screen with share to have the ability to share. So I think it gives a bit more flexibility. If you, for example, got a barcode click share connected there through that HDMI ingest, then you're able to do that just manually if you want to use the sharing that way. That is through general. Now we go to meetings. And here you can see this list becomes bigger and bigger with newer versions. So we have meeting names, which was already there. We got Bluetooth beaconing. That is for the proximity joiner. So you're able to enable or disable the automatic accept. So in other words, if you're not in that same room, then you manually need to accept it or you automatically accept it. That means you can transfer your meeting which you have on your laptop and you can transfer that automatically to your Studio X device, and that is that proximity join. I got some other videos on that where I walk that all through, so if you want to review that, I would recommend to check out that other video. Allow remote control. Yes, so with the use case proximity join, you will see now remote control on your mobile device. So you're able to like set the volume, you're able to set different mute, volume control. There's some features in there, like not all of them which we have on the TC8, but you got some of those buttons available on your mobile where you can do remote control. This usually came through that pandemic period where people just didn't always want to touch that touch panel at the table. So this was really came from that that period. But still, it's a handy use case. Well, the max occupancy sensor, so the notification, you can turn that also on and off. Allow room to initiate whiteboard. So that is that button you see on the front page on the TV UI. So when you walk in, you can start that whiteboard session. If you don't want that, you can turn it off. Here we can show chat bubbles. So if you want to like chat bubbles on the screen, I think it's quite busy to show all that, but that's a possibility during your meetings. Also show meeting chat. Now what's an interesting one is extend room reservation. So I will show you that a bit. So I've enabled that. So I will show you a bit where you can use that during a meeting. The new one is the default stage layout. So what you can do, and this gives consistency with your Teams room windows. So you can set now everybody to, for example, the front row layout, or for example, to content plus gallery. So you can change it now to the same experience for all rooms. So I think this is a really, really powerful one. And the rest were also there, so you got direct join WebEx and Zoom, etc. And so further, this was all available. Now, where it becomes interesting is also under devices. So under devices, you will find two new options, room camera and content camera. Room camera means you can select now the default view of a camera, and that is besides built-in camera of the Studio X or connected camera through G7500, you can select now also a USB connected camera. And I know it's showing here as front and external, so that will probably and one of the next versions where you can change the naming. So front is the built-in camera of the Studio X, and external is an external USB connected camera. So let's say you got an E70 somewhere in the corner of a classroom pointing to a teacher, to a whiteboard. You want to have that as default view. You can configure that now. I think it's a really, really nice one. Now the other one, which I showed you, is the content camera. So here you can point specifically to a whiteboard and do some of those enhanced whiteboarding things within Microsoft Teams. So you select that, and here you're able to select that external camera that is able to work with that whiteboard. I think a really nice one. This is all in sync now with MTR on Windows. So there's not much gap anymore between Windows and Android. That seems to come all together. Now, and the last one is a Teams sign out. Now, let me show you now the experience here from the end user side during a meeting. So what is available there? So let me join a meeting here. All right. So on the left side below, let me show you that. And of course, similar experience on the TC8, on the touch panel at the table. You see here the layout control. So as I set gallery to be the default, it will jump to gallery. And so if we change this, for example, to front row, and the next time user starts another meeting, it will jump back into that gallery mode. And so that is, I think, good to know. It will always jump back to that gallery as that is the default. And I think, as I said, that this is really nice because you want to not surprise users, give them that similar experience in every room. Here you can enable the chat if you want to, or disable the chat. See right here, and similar, it will be automatically disabled if you don't want to as a default. Here we can click on the participants or joining the meeting. You can set some of those details here, so you can disable the mic for attendees or disable the camera for attendees, some of those default settings there. Then we got some animations. So if you want to throw in some animations during the meeting, you can also do that from the Teams room side. Sharing, And here you see you share now from the HDMI cable. So during the meeting, of course, you can do that. You can even share the audio now here. So you can turn it off or turn that on. Very flexible now. And I'll show you in a bit also when you got your content camera connected, what the options will be then. Then we got here all the dots. So here we'll find some more details like meeting info. If you want to share it, you can allow chat bubbles or not, remote control, having the dial pad, turn off, like remote control, you can report issue. There's another one, extend reservation. I think this is a really nice one. This will automatically push out an extension in the calendar. So if I click on that, it will, after this meeting, add another meeting to make sure that this room is mine because I need that additional time. So let's say I need another 45 minutes. I confirm that. And now automatically in the agenda, that additional time will be added on top of my current meeting, which I will show in a bit. Now, then we got the volume control, of course. And here we get to the interesting parts. We see here now the camera on and off. Of course, we already had that camera on and off. But next to that, there is a marker downwards. If we press that, and probably people will recognize that from the MTR windows, we had a similar experience. Here we see front. Again, this is the built-in camera, but also I can select now external. And that means a USB connected camera. So you can switch between different cameras. I don't know how many yet. I need to test that. Or if you're able to test that, let me know. But I'm able to switch here between the built-in camera and an external camera. I think that is really, really nice. So this is now part of that new release. Now, and the next one here is the mute button. And of course, we have here on the right side, we got the hang up button. Now, let me do that. Now, what you notice is there is now an extension of 45 minutes after the meeting. So this is now automatically being done into Exchange. And this is, I think, really nice. So if you got a room booking system on the outside, it will also automatically show this extension. And so it makes life a lot easier. Usually you need to walk outside and then click on extend. So now you can do this also in the room. Now, as a final, through this end user experience demo, let me show you where you see the content camera popping up during a meeting. So let me enable first the content camera here. All right, let me log in again here through the admin settings. We go here to the admin settings. We go to devices. Now, let me select now an E70, for example, as a content camera. So we select that right here. That should give you sort of preview. So this is my E70 connected now. All right, let me go back. We go all the way back. Let me show you now where you can find the content camera during a meeting. So let me start an ad hoc meeting now. And with the ad hoc meeting, you can invite other participants. Let me close this one. All right, you go to that sharing button, which you see here all the way below with that marker pointing up. If I click on that, what you see is the whiteboard camera is available now, right here. So you can select it now to share that in your meeting. So what was already available was share a whiteboard. So during a meeting, you can share a whiteboard. If it is an external invite, which has been forwarded to this meeting system, it depends on the access rights. So this is also not always available. It depends between the whiteboard sharing between domains. If it is within the same domain, you will have the whiteboard available, of course, within the same tenant. On the top one, you see the connected device that is through the HDMI ingest. So if there's a laptop connected there, you can share something, including the audio right here. And you also can share that turning off. Now, one thing which I didn't mention yet, there's also smart camera controls now in the Teams app. I haven't seen it yet, but there should be somewhere hidden here in this menu. There should also be a smart camera control setting option. So here you can change between speaker track, group track or framing, but I will probably show that in the next video because I didn't see that option yet. Now, lastly, what I want to show you are some references. So besides the Teams room on Android and Windows release notes, so I will put a reference from this website under the comments, so you're able to find that quickly. Find all the versions here, similar for Windows. You can find all the latest version and everything that is included, including what comes with Pro license. But under Android, you will see new features, but you also see if there are any fixes. So if you run into something, always check on this website if there are anything fixed where you're able to check out and install that newer version. There's also a website for Microsoft with known issues with Teams room devices. Very handy, as which gives you an overview. It gives you some known issues on the Windows side. It gives you some hardware known issues, but also on Android you can find some known issue. And at the moment there is one particular which I wanted to mention, and it is the volume. So if the volume is low of your X30, X50 through the far end, make sure you adjust the transmission gain. The issue has already been identified and they're gonna fix that in the upcoming version. So I always recommend that, just stay tuned with my updates, but there is a known issue. So let me show you where you can change that in the Studio X. So here we are in the Studio X web UI. So you can connect to the IP address, log in there. Default is the last 6 digits of the serial number. After you log in, you go to audio and video. You go specifically to audio, and here you will find the option transmission audio gain, as you see right here. So you need to put that between the 15 and 18. So I would say just test that out, see which works best, and you can leave it at some of which works best for your room. In the next version, we will fix this automatically. So you can just leave this. When the new version comes out, just make sure you upgrade to that latest PolyOS and Teams app, and then this will automatically be fixed in that version. And so just keep it this way for your rooms, but only if you have the issue with your X30 or your X50 by sending low volume to that far end. Now, in general, if you run into anything, any strange behavior, etc., always log a support ticket with Poly. And in parallel, if you got a Microsoft contract, log it also with Microsoft to make sure they can investigate your issue and provide a proper guidance for your environment to use the devices as optimal as possible. That's it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I think I done it within 1 or 2 coffees again, so I think I'm doing well. Again, if you got any questions or other things, just let me know in the comments. I also put a lot of references in the comments, don't forget this. So anything I'm talking about, links, references, I put them as much as possible in the comments so you're able to find them very quickly. Probably a lot of updates coming up. As you've seen, Microsoft is in development and catching up with a lot of features with MTR Windows and moving also on Android side. We got from the Poly side, we got some new things coming up in newer versions. So expect some new versions there during the upcoming months. For now, thank you for watching, and I'm already looking forward to see you back in the next video.